We're pleased to have Jeff Broin with us. He's co-chairman of Growth Energy, the voice for ethanol in this country. Thanks very much for coming today, Jeff.
Glad to be here.
If you haven't heard about E15 yet, 15% ethanol fuels, there's legislation moving through Washington right now, and I want to talk about E15 just a little bit. Why is this E15 waiver so important for our country?
Well, today, to be honest with you, the ethanol industry provides pretty close to 10% of the fuel for our nation, and so we're bumping up against the current limitation in the Clean Air Act of 10% ethanol. So it's very important that we get to 15% ethanol, not only so that we can, as the corn crop continues to grow in the future and the yields, we can grow the grain-based industry, but also so that there's room for cellulose. Today there will not be cellulosic ethanol. If we don't move that blend wall and make some room for that new product, it's just not going to be financeable.
Well, a lot of people talk about the E15, and as farmers, we think that's important too. But how about E20, E30? What will cars really handle? Because I know that's one of the big pushbacks we get from some city people. They say, well, I don't think my car will handle anything more than 10%.
Well, the testing that we presented to the EPA in the Green Jobs Waiver that we presented in March actually shows that very easily cars can handle 15% ethanol, and the small engines can handle as well. We presented actually the most comprehensive waiver in the history of the Clean Air Act waiver process. So we're confident that EPA will see that E15 works very well in today's automobiles. As we move beyond that, we're doing even more testing in the industry for higher level blends. So Growth Energy was formed basically to teach the world how ethanol and agriculture can feed and fuel the world.
So what's the big pushback that you get? Okay, with Growth Energy, we understand the message. We're farmers. We know this is a good thing. But what's the big pushback that you get from people in Washington, D.C., for example?
Well, there are a lot of people out there. You all saw the Food versus Fuel smear campaign, which has totally been proven false by literally many studies. One thing we've got at Growth Energy now is something called the E-Team. If you go to www.growthenergy.org, you can join the E-Team. It's our goal by the end of the year to have 10,000 members of that E-Team, and that E-Team is basically involved in this process of helping fight oil. So we're building the army. And you can all be a part of that army that's going to be fighting big oil and others, and big food, and people that want to see this industry not move forward in the future.
How can you find out more about E15 and what's happening there, and how can farmers and others voice their support for E15?
Well, one of the things you can do today is comment on the Green Jobs Waiver or the E15 Waiver. And actually we have a website set up. It's at www.goe15.com. We've gotten 13,000 people to sign up, basically to go to that website and to send in comments to the EPA. And the more comments we get, the better, because the environmentalists are commenting against corn ethanol. We're about 13,000 comments today, and they're roughly at the same number, so we need to keep building those comments over the next approximately 60 days.
So talk to us just a little more about the Green Jobs Waiver. What exactly is that? I mean, other than you say it's E15 and it's that bill, what else is involved with that?
Well, basically we submitted a waiver to the EPA. It's a waiver to the Clean Air Act. We submitted it in March. They have until December to decide on that. The Green Jobs Waiver, or the E15 waiver, then will basically allow us to blend up to 15% ethanol in gasoline. Doesn't say you have to use E15 in gasoline, just up to 15% rather than the up to 10% that we're at today. So it opened the market up. That extra 5% alone will create 136,000 new jobs in this country and $24.4 billion in economic activity, while also creating demand for grain and helping to keep grain, hopefully, above the world cost of production. And if we're serious about getting more of our energy and our food from the earth, we need to keep that price where grain is more sustainably priced worldwide.
Well, I've talked about many different issues with ethanol today. We're really pleased to have Jeff Broin, co-chairman of Growth Energy, with us. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for all the information today. And if you have more questions about ethanol, you can go to growthenergy.org, or on the short term here, go to goe15.com and voice your opinions about E15.